Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Advancement Center, to the world beyond magic and miracles, to the world beyond technology, and to many, many worlds, actually. A very sweet beginning to today's broadcast. There's a little bird making its sweet little sounds in the tree behind me. And I instantly go to this really warm place when I hear this particular sound, because several years ago here, a bird just like it flew into the window and knocked himself out. And we picked him up and we held him in our hands and I was putting water on my finger and trying to drip it into his beak. And next thing you know, he comes alive in my hand. And he sat there for quite a while. And then the sweetest thing is he jumped up onto my shoulder, into my hair, actually. And it was one of the most beautiful experiences I've ever had with a wild bird. It was just very, very sweet. It felt affectionate and lovely to be that close to these little birds that I adore. So that sound that bird made in my ear will never leave me. And anytime I hear that sound, I know instantly that's the same kind of bird. I don't know. It could be the same bird. You never know. But that was how today's broadcast began for me, which is rather appropriate, because as we go further and further into this beautiful new world that's with us already, but we just keep stepping out into it, the thrill that I've always received in the natural world here on planet Earth is growing. It was one of those things that I suppose when you're young and you seem to have more free time, I remember more experiences of being in nature, taking long hikes in the trees by the ocean up in Northern California, where I'm from. And as your life gets busier with things like work, those moments are less, but they're always with me. And what's happening now is what I receive of that magical dimension. It's flowing at a rate, it's flowing to me and through me at a rate unprecedented for me. It's triggered when I'm like driving in here to Santa Barbara from up north. It's definitely triggered as I take this beautiful drive through the hills, the rolling hills, and then you come out to the spectacular shimmering ocean. And now it's become a regular thing. I see at least 3 hawks or falcons. Today it was 2 of them flew right over the top of me just as I drove by. This is no longer coincidence. Not that it ever was, but your brain will tend to push things off like, oh, that's just a coincidence. I don't do that so much anymore. I take notice, and the smile that comes on my face and the thrill that I get every time, it never goes away. So I'm saying this because physically, for me, physically driving through these spectacular places, which I've loved to do since I was young. When I first got my own little funky car and I could drive myself, that's the first thing I did is I drove up Highway 1 by myself for hours, having the time of my life, just being in the middle of nowhere, and yet so happy, so comfortable, often having my music playing. It was an incredible feeling. However, all of these feelings, all of these experiences, these feelings just come in. I don't have to be there doing that to experience the feelings, although going out into nature is always a thrill for me. But I could be sitting in our apartment. I can be anywhere. I could be at work. It doesn't really matter. And this tremendous feeling that's hard to describe will just come into me, flow in such a rush. Sometimes it almost bowls me over. I'll get tingles everywhere, or I'll just get excited and feel absolute delight out of nowhere. And I'm sure people have been around at times when I have that happen and there's no one around me. It's just me and myself. But I don't care. I don't care. In the moment, I'm not even aware there's anyone else around. And yet, as I'm saying that, as that bubbly, amazing feeling comes through when I am in the presence of others, it goes to them. It clearly comes through me and transmits to anyone near and maybe far. I'm not sure. But this is just a little window into my world. It's a very significant part of my world, always has been. The fun of where we are, more than ever before, is having these experiences, these feelings become more prevalent. The feeling of following your spirit is coming more and more alive in everyone here on planet Earth. Those that wish it. There are many that are, we're all different, but there are actually those that function differently. Therefore, to stay in your own world, seeing your visions of the future, not having to get involved in what somebody else is doing next door, which has always been such a strange thing about our media. It's so much about getting a look at somebody else's life, somebody else's experience. And it had to be pointed out to me eventually, because it can be a bit almost like an automatic response. It's like when people drive down the freeway and there's an accident on the side of the road. They call it rubbernecking. It's this tendency to follow, to look when there's disaster or something wrong. I don't mean in the sense of helping, that I have that pull, but in the sense of gawking. And so that's the funny thing to me about media. It takes you, it's serving another purpose. It's not my purpose. And as we stay in our own world, there's so much rushing in right now. If you stay there, and I'm not talking about in a place, I'm just talking about in your field, in your own realms, you will be open to everything that's coming your way, to receive it in the most majestic and enjoyable fashion. Versus if you let yourself be distracted by things that aren't even in your world, and you could miss these beautiful gifts that are coming through, and the flow is just increasing. My sense is that pretty soon our flow will take over, and there will be no need to even have this conversation anymore. That is where we're going. But it's fun to share the markers that you see, because we all have access to different ones. We all have such different worlds and different even perceptions in what appears to be the same world. It's pretty cool, actually. It's one of the things that makes this amazing life here so interesting, never dull, because we all have something so unique and so amazing that we bring. And to continue to live in this way, there's tremendous support for us right now from everywhere, actually, to live in our true being, to follow our spirit. The wind underneath our wings is greater than ever before. And my connection with the animal world and nature is so strong. I actually feel all of them celebrating right now. There is such sensitivity in the animals that they're very quick to pick energies up. So as things are shifting and going to magnificent places, they can be some of the first beings to actually feel it. The other day, as I'm sitting having coffee in our apartment and looking out the window, gazing out over this beautiful, cute little town and to the hills way beyond. It was a very windy day, and the big soaring birds, the hawks, that are built in such a way that it's easy for them to soar. Their wing structure, their bodies are all fashioned, so that's what they do. It's amazing to watch them catch the wind. As I watched a couple of them today alongside the freeway, where the ocean, the bluff is right next to the freeway and the ocean is just beyond that. And these huge birds were diving because the wind comes up from the ocean and flies up the side of the bluff, and to watch them play in that wind is glorious for me. I feel like I'm soaring with them. But we have a lot of pigeons in our town, and when they fly, they're a little bit more awkward. The way they're built, the angle that their wings are when they fly. So you wouldn't necessarily call them a gracefully soaring bird. And yet one of these pigeons, there were many this day, flying around, having the time of their lives. They were loving the wind. He was bound and determined. I could see it, I could feel it, to fly like an eagle. It was really quite a spectacle, and it was really fun to watch because there were other birds just like him flying by in their sort of awkward way. But this particular one, no, he was doing it. He was soaring. It didn't last as long as the big birds, but he was having that experience, even if it was just for a short time. So you can see in my world, I pick up all of this. I feel all of the animals. And I feel it when they're soaring in their own freedom. And there will be more in all of the animal realms. The gentleness that's coming, the beautiful harmony that's just growing between all beings here on planet Earth and everywhere. And as you experience yourself gliding and flying into the unknown, it can be a little, what's the word? You can wonder, where am I going? What's happening? And the key as our dear friend Simeon brought in to us once again this past Saturday, is infinite trust. Such a beautiful 2 words. They communicate so much more than the words. As I'm watching these amazing birds as they glide and everything they do on the wind, that's the feeling I get. They're not up there worrying about falling out of the sky. They're just doing what they're doing, fully supported, as are we. the sense of awe, appreciation, love I feel for all of those who are here among us in physical form on planet Earth, for those that are among us and may not be visible as yet, for those beyond. Everywhere I feel you all. I feel the tremendous love that makes me leak. The honor I feel for you and the honor I feel from you. Is beyond the beyond and further. I am on planet Earth to exist in all forms. The joy of the experiences that I came with, they're coming back, and they're building. There's more. It's even bigger than it was. There was this middle period where I got very pulled into this crazy world, and I've been freed. And I'm soaring like an eagle. And I invite all of you to have the time of your lives, because you are fully supported. To experience your own unique world. Everything that is you will begin, it's begun, it will continue to flow through you. And it's just having the courage. And if you need to remind yourself every now and then, the words infinite trust alone are enough. That you can just step out off of that cliff, what may appear to be a cliff, knowing that you are supported. And then all thought of any of this will just disappear. Because you are just having the time of your life. So once again, it's such an honor to be here. To express to all of you just a little bit of this one's experience of this life. And I'm so excited to feel and see each and every one everywhere with the freedom to soar in their own spirit. So once again, in this beautiful new year, The new life is here. It's begun. And here we go. Thank you for joining me and us here at the Advancement Center. And I want to wish you all a perfect life, perfect health, and a fantastically magic future. Thank you.